Circe, she's the OG hot chemist. We arrive on Circe's island after the Cyclops, after the windbag is open, after the giants eat the majority of the men on the ship, which I will have to go through in another video. But we are dwindled down from 600 men to a measly 44, and now we are on Circe's island. Poseidon is clearly working overtime to make Odysseus absolutely miserable, blowing him from island to island, so much so that the boys don't even know where they're at. They're just letting the wind take them. Poseidon's having a good old time. He's just sitting there and he's just writing up where they're going. He's like, which island should I take them to next? They'll go to, Aeolus' island, because Odysseus is an idiot. He's not going to tell him about the windbag, and the men are going to open the bag and never get home. And then I'll send them to the cannibals' island. So half his men, no, most of his men can be eaten up. Yes, I will cause the most trauma that these men have ever gone through in their lives. The men are a little hesitant to get off this island. They don't know where they are, and every island they've faced has come with major consequences. So 44 men are not getting off this ship anytime soon. And they spend 2 days in the ship, rocking back and forth, eating all their supplies up. And Odysseus sees them, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys rest. We don't have to get off this island. It's fine. But then all the food supplies runs out. So someone has to go. Odysseus, looking at his men, is like, I won't put you through that much trauma anymore. You're at your 13th reason, so I will go, so we can save your 13th reason for something in the future. Odysseus decides to take one for the team and go venture out on the island on his own. While he's wandering, he's like, what's that? Oh my god, a smoke fire! I'm gonna go over there and ask for hospitality, i.e. Xenia. He gets cold feet. And he goes, you know what? I totally need to check out that fire because we definitely need food and we need to know where we are and we need to know how to get back to Ithaca. But my men need breakfast more. So let me just go back and tell them that I found this smoke fire. So he goes back, he finds a deer on the way, kills it, brings it back to the men. The men are in full fetal position on the ship, stressed out. Okay? Someone's gonna have to go and find out where that smoke fire is and what that's all about and ask for Xenia and take the risk. So Odysseus splits the men up. Okay? There's 44, 22 with me, 22 with my right-hand man, Eurylochus. And they draw straws. And whoever draws the shortest straw is going to go check out that smoke fire. And as brave as Odysseus is, I can only imagine that he tampered with the straws so he wouldn't have to go. And so he could send Eurylochus. But that's just a theory. And Eurylochus draws the shortest straw. So he's like, bye guys. Men are so stressed out, they're literally saying their goodbyes to each other. They're like, I've always loved you, man, and I hope you get to see your wife again. Fully, like, eulogy. You can get my cow when you get back to Ithaca. Like, stressed out. They go to the smoke fire, and they find a little cottage, and they hear singing. And through the window, they see Circe, and she is singing and weaving. Oh my god, the most gentle, the most non-threatening image. A woman weaving and singing. Totally non-threatening at all. So, they knock on the door. And when they knock on the door, a horde of lions and wolves run past them. The weird thing about these lions and wolves is that they're not threatening at all. They're not in hunter mode. They're not killing each other, because lions and wolves, they will attack each other. They're not doing that. If anything, they're acting like little baby puppies. They're like nuzzling up against the men, and the men are confused. And then all of a sudden Circe pops out and she's like, hey guys, hi, what you doing here? And she's hot. She's smoking. And all the men who haven't seen their wives and their girlfriends and their partners and anything in between in 10 years, their jaws drop and they're like, we're here for... And she's like, I will happily give you Xenia. She finishes the sentence for them. Like, come inside. And they run in. They are so happy. They're relieved. This hot woman is offering Xenia. Also, she tells them that she's unmarried. She only lives here with her 4 handservants. Like this is a dream come true for these men, because usually when asking for Xenia, you're usually asking the man of the house, and the women of the house are in the female quarters, so the person asking for Xenia doesn't really see the women that much. So this is like a dream come true. We have a single woman offering Xenia. They're going to be able to eat and sleep and rest and admire this smoking hot lady. She's like, y'all are probably thirsty, right? Oh my goodness, I have the perfect recipe. I have the perfect cocktail. Do you mind tasting my cocktail for me? And of course the men are like, yeah. She makes this cocktail Let me go see how to pronounce it. She makes them something called kaikion. I think the pronunciation said it's pronounced cacao. If you want to learn how to make kaikion for your next get together, here are the ingredients. So you're going to need oh my god, I forgot what the wine is called. Anyways, it's this Greek wine, but if you don't have it, which most likely you don't, you're going to use a very strong red wine. Right, so that's the first one. You're going to boil that red wine. Then you're going to grind up some barley, toss that into the red wine. Then you're going to take some sheep's cheese. You're going to grate it up. And then you're going to top that off with more strong red wine. And that's kakaikion. What did I say? Cacao? That's how you make the drink. Circe being Circe, she's going to add a little something extra. Hot chemist style, she just puts in a little something, something. And y'all have been to a sports bar before. You've been to a regular bar before. You know how men are when they're drunk. Most of them. They're loud, they're rowdy, they're rough. Some would even say they act like pigs. Pigs. Especially with Circe being the hot mama she is. They started, looking at her like a pig, acting like a pig in her house, and losing the manners that a guest would have when they enter the home of someone offering ziznia. So Circe, exhaling as if she's gone through this before, takes her wand out of her sleeve, and Wingardium Leviosa's each one of these men. Taps them on the shoulder. Now, class, let's do a little math problem, shall we? What do you get when you get one enchantress plus a bunch of men acting like pigs? You're right, they turn into pigs. Exactly. Good job, class. 100% all around, everyone's passing. They're so drunk, they don't even realize what's happening. They're trying to pick up their drinks. They can't pick it up. They think it's because they're drunk. No, it's because they lost their opposable thumbs. Now they got hooves. Okay, how do you pick up a drink with hooves? Probably like this. They're looking at each other, and they see that they're turning into pigs, and they're like, wait, what's going on with your nose? They're talking like pigs, and they have the brains of men, but the visualization of pigs. Oh, did I mention Eurylochus didn't go in at all? The men rushed into Circe's house, and Eurylochus is like, something's not up, and I've definitely read Hansel and Gretel before, so I'm just gonna stay outside and see what happens. So Eurylochus doesn't get affected at all. He's watching this from behind a tree or something. And my favorite part of the story, because I didn't know this, apparently pigs love acorns. It's one of their favorite foods. And Circe, knowing this, pulls out a bag of acorns, and she's like, boys, I have acorns. And the pigs are like, I don't like acorns. I'm allergic to acorns. But because they're pigs, they're like, and they go and follow her outside to the pig pen, where she tosses the acorns, and this is where Eurylochus sees them. And then it all clicks. These wolves, these lions that are hanging around, that are acting like puppies, they used to be men, because sometimes when men are drunk, they act like pigs. Sometimes when men are drunk, they act like wolves. Sometimes when men are drunk, they act like lions. But guess what? Circe, she took care of all of them. Yep, that's right. Women empowerment. So Eurylochus runs back to the ship. He tells Odysseus everything. Oh my god, the men, they turn into pigs. It's because of this woman. She's actually really hot. And Odysseus, we can just infer. Odysseus was like, oh, hot woman? I shall go save men. Eurylochus is like, no, we don't gotta save them. Let's just cut our losses, you and I, and just run. And I was listening to a scholar talk about it, and he's like, well, it was because Circe was hot that he goes and checks it out for himself. He's like, hot woman, that can't be dangerous. Has he ever seen Promising Young Woman before? But I also read somewhere, I'm gonna have to fact check this, but I read that he couldn't leave the men because in order to row his ships, he needed the remainder 22. Like, there was no way the 22 that were already on the ship were gonna be able to row. But I have to double check that, so take that information with a grain of salt, yeah. So Odysseus is like, let me go check out what the hubbub is about. And he's walking, and he hears a little laugh. It's Hermes. Everyone give it up for Hermes. We'll talk about Hermes and Odysseus dealing with Circe next.